with my sidekick, Dabby, and today we are talking about Like a River Glorious, Book 2 in the Seer Trilogy. So, I was lucky enough to get my hands on Walk on Earth a Stranger a little bit early last year, which was fantastic because I love this book and I stood in line for it and it was great. But the issue was it meant that I needed to wait even longer to read its sequel. If you have not read the first book yet, I do have a non-spoiler review for it on thefandom.net. In a nutshell, it is about a girl living during the time of the California Gold Rush, and she is very important to that time because she has the ability to sense gold in the earth. So she comes in handy. Her name is Leah Westfall. Her best friend Jefferson goes off to try to get rich by heading to California, but she needs to stay with her family. But when her family is killed, she decides to head off on her own. And it has a bit of a Mulan feel because she has to dress up as a man in order to be on her own, because in that period of time, women could not do anything by themselves. It was enjoyable. There were a lot of twists and turns. Parts of it were a bit slow moving because it is a story of people trekking across the country by foot, basically. But if you were like me and you grew up playing Oregon Trails on the computer, this will be a little bit nostalgic for you, and I definitely think it's worth reading, and it was a lot of fun. And book 2 was wonderful, which I'll get into in a minute. So if you haven't read this one yet, go ahead and read it and then come back, okay? Anyway, on to our feature presentation. We're talking about Like a River Glorious. Hopefully you're already gone if you haven't read the first one, because I'm about to spoil it. In this one, we continue to follow Lee, Jefferson, and the whole gang that's still alive as they set up a town that they want to live in together. But Lee's uncle is after her and has promised to track her down, and she's constantly living in fear of that. And they're meeting a lot of people that want them, and she is still kind of half-heartedly trying to hide her power from most of her friends, although Jefferson now knows about it. And then there's also this connection with Jefferson that she's still not sure exactly what it is, though it seems like she is starting to figure it out. This book is a lot of fun. I gave it a strong 4 stars. It just wasn't quite there for the 5 stars. I think partly because these books do run a little bit slower than I'm used to, though there was so much intensity in this book. If you have not read it yet, go read it. I'm doing my official spoiler warning right now, because anything I say after this will be a spoiler. Go check it out and then come back, okay? Okay, bye! So, like I said, I really enjoyed this book. It was exciting. The moment that she got captured by her uncle, I was terrified, as was obvious. And then you knew she couldn't die, and I knew Jefferson wouldn't die, but not gonna lie, I was really worried for Tom because he could die, basically. Like, he didn't need to make it through this book. I'm glad he did, and I love his relationship with Henry, but he didn't need to make it through. I love the fact that Jasper is teaching Becky's daughter to be a little mini doctor, and some of those scenes where I need to talk about Martin. The truth comes out about Leah. She decides that if she's spending her life with these people, she should be honest about who she is and the danger that just being around her puts them in. So she tells them not only about her gift with gold, but about her uncle killing her family and tracking her down and wanting her no matter what. And then Martin's family decides they've already lost one daughter, they can't put the rest of their family at risk. They're going to leave and go back. But then Martin because he's a whole 15, which I guess then was basically an adult, decides that he doesn't want to leave. He's an adult now. He can go make a name for himself on his own, and he comes back. And the moment he starts to actually get money, he dies. And then Jasper, in this moment of pain, turns it into a lesson, but I love the way he did it. He was very gentle about it. He gave Martin a more humane way of dying, but then also turned it in a lesson for his little mini doctor by talking about the noise, and you can assume that later he told her that that's the sound of like internal bleeding and knowing that somebody is about to die. But, oh, that was painful. That poor family. The Hoffman family has, 2 children. I'm wondering when they'll even find out about this one. Do they know? They never talk about sending word to them. I assume, like, Becky did or something when they left. I don't know. Anyway, a good chunk of this book takes place when Lee, Jefferson, and Tom are basically slaves to Lee's Uncle Hiram. That part is terrifying. The way he literally ties her to the bed every night so that she can't leave. And the whole time she's like pretending to be this perfect little angel girl because that's what he wants. He wants somebody he can control and who will just let him take ownership of her. But that's not who Lee is, and we know that, and it hurts to watch her pretend to be that, even though we know it's so that she can win his trust and break away and be the badass girl we saw up till this point. But it still hurts to watch. I love the moments when Jefferson comes to her window and the flutter in her chest, even though she's still refusing to believe that she loves him. And I think that's more out of her need to be independent than anything else, because she says many times that she does not want to be a wife purely because she wants her own identity. She doesn't want to belong to somebody else. I know Jefferson would never make her feel that way, and she would be equals, but under the law, and that's what really worries her, under the law she wouldn't be her own person. She would belong to him. History sucks. I also loved that we got a little bit more diversity in this book. We have not only the typical people going across the country. Well, we do see Hampton a lot, the former slave who is now becoming a landowner, and he's getting the money to go get his wife. I was terrified when he got hit right when he had made enough money to bring his wife over. I was like, oh my gosh, he just accomplished this huge thing for himself and now he's gonna die. He didn't die. Martin died instead, but he did kind of lose everything and he needed to start over, but he was able to start over. So that was great. And I loved Becky really coming into her own. Everybody in this book was becoming so progressive, and I loved it. You had Lee being an independent woman and determined to keep her independence, even if that meant never being with the person that she loved, although I'm hoping that in the last one she does find a way to have both love and independence, because she has earned that. I also loved the conversation that Lee had where she was explaining that, yeah, Becky might be happy now because she's able to become her own self and not be owned by her husband, but that doesn't mean she never loved him. We don't know if she loved him or not. It's very possible she didn't, because he was not a super lovable person. I'm sure she did on some extent, if nothing else, just as the father of her children. But I loved seeing her come into her own and find actual love with the Major, even if he doesn't see it. I mean, he sees it on his end. He doesn't see it on her end. But her little restaurant, and the fact that she was joking about the fact that her food sucks. but everybody loves it anyway, and they love the company, and they were creating a whole town, and it was just so much fun. This book was a lot of fun, and parts were very scary too, but it was a lot of fun. Anyway, I do want to talk about the big breakout of Hiram's camp, because it didn't go the way it was supposed to, yet it did. It started a day earlier than it was supposed to because those slaves just like couldn't take it anymore. Nor should they have taken it. That was awful. And then we don't know exactly who survived and who didn't. I really like Mary. I'm wondering what will become of her in the future. I kind of hope she's able to branch out of the line of work that she had to do in the past, although it doesn't seem like that's necessarily something that she wants, so I guess all the power to her. My one concern is that it did have like an ending to the story. They went and they made that deal, and I'm sure that's going to come up in the third one and final book, but they made the deal where she was going to help, I don't even remember his name, the person that was giving money to Hiram. In exchange, Hiram needed to go bye-bye, though I'm sure he's going to show up again in some way. And he needed to support their plan for Glory, California to become an official town when time comes for town charters. And it really did seem like an ending. Like, I would be happy with it ending there and just assuming that that deal worked out, because that's what it feels like right now. And I love that she's finally engaged to Jefferson and accepting that that's where her life is going to end up. I'm excited to see her take on that wife identity and her independent identity together, because I will be very mad if she can't do that. And I'm sure it'll be a little bit of a struggle for her, but I know she's gonna get there. I'm excited to see Glory, California become an actual town. Like, I can't see her secret about the gold becoming like common knowledge among everybody, but maybe? I don't understand how that could happen. So I kind of hope it doesn't, but if it does, I hope it's like in a way that makes sense and doesn't, I don't know what I'm saying. Like I said, fun book. I don't know where exactly the third one's gonna go. I can only see a couple things. The uncle's bound to show up again, and we're gonna see a lot of closure, but obviously something else has to happen. Maybe the deal won't work out the way it's supposed to. Maybe that dude is gonna end up being even more evil than her uncle, which, oh gosh, I hope not. Abel might show up again, because Dilly died, but I think Abel is still around, and is he gonna still want to marry her? There's bound to be some conflict with Jefferson and Lee getting married, because for one thing, she lied to that other dude when she said that she had somebody back in Georgia, which I guess technically he is someone from Georgia, so she didn't totally lie. But there's going to be drama there because everybody's racist in this time and he's half Native American. So, okay, so I can see some places where this last one is going to go. I'm excited to read it. I have about a year. But that's it. If you like this video or just want to see what else I have to say, click below to subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at ReaderGonnaRead, just like my YouTube channel. And I will talk to you next time. Bye! I'm excited to see Glory, Indiana. Yeah, it's from a musical.